Can the human body truly change size beyond biology, or is it a myth? Millions chase size promises. Science has in research, not advertisements. How much is truly possible? Many men quietly compare themselves with a standard that they rarely question. Most beliefs about penis size come not from science, but cultural stories repeated for decades that shape our assumptions. First scientific step is measurement. Reliable research begins when anatomy is measured by medical professionals rather than self-reports. Scientists studied tens of thousands of men across many countries to understand the true biological average. Results were surprisingly consistent. Across cultures and regions, the average erect size remained within a narrow biological range. Most men fall very close to the statistical center. Understanding averages require understanding variation. Human bodies rarely follow extremes. They cluster near the middle. This pattern is known as a normal distribution, a basic principle of biology. Once averages are known, a second question emerges. If most men fall near the same range, why do so many believe they are far below normal? Perception is often shaped by selective exposure rather than reality. Many people next influence comes a structuricidia. Many people identity and imagery expunge their name at performers with uncommon body proportions because extreme visuals attract attention. When only the most extreme examples are repeatedly shown, viewers begin to assume those examples represent the majority. This psychological effect is called exposure bias. Another distortion comes from camera technique. Camera angles, lighting direction, and body positioning can significantly change how size appears on screen. Because of these distortions, many men misjudge themselves. Psychological studies show men often underestimate how close they are to the statistical average. At this point, the investigation reaches a deeper question. If most men are already within the normal biological range, does size actually determine sexual satisfaction? The scientific answer begins with anatomy. Sexual pleasure is infectious death. The most sensitive areas in female anatomy are concentrated near the entrance rather than deep inside the canal. Another structure plays an even larger role. The clitoris contains thousands of nerve endings and functions as the central organ of sexual sensation. As you can see, its structure is quite complex. Because sensation is concentrated near the entrance, deeper penetration often contributes less than people expect. Emotional comfort and stimulation patterns usually matter more than extreme depth. Scientific studies repeatedly show a similar pattern. Relationship quality and communication strongly predict sexual satisfaction. Partners who communicate openly often report higher satisfaction regardless of anatomy. Yet despite these findings, anxiety about size remains common. Many men worry about size even when their partners report satisfaction. This gap reveals how perception can differ from reality. The next step is understanding perception. Many men estimate their size by comparing to unrealistic examples. This doesn't look right.
Normal variations are wider than you think.
Comparison without context leads to incorrect conclusions. Another factor affecting perception is body composition. The narrator explains that body fat around the lower abdomen can partially cover the base of the penis, which can change how long it appears externally. If human anatomy includes natural variation in how the penis, some individuals in some penis appear larger at rest, while others increase more dramatically during erection. Because of these variations, flaccid size alone provides very little information about erect size. Visual impressions in locker rooms often create misleading comparisons. Clinical measurements are more reliable than visual estimates. Once these misunderstandings accumulate, an entire industry emerges promising solutions. Many products claim to permanently increase size, despite limited scientific evidence. It's crucial many of these products rely on hope rather than evidence. Pills, herbal mixtures, and topical oils often claim dramatic results without clinical proof. Some mechanical devices promise physical expansion. Pumps and stretching devices can temporarily change blood flow, but they rarely create permanent anatomical change. Understanding the evidence is key. More extreme options involve surgery. Surgical enlargement procedures attempt to alter ligaments or add tissue, but the outcomes are often unpredictable and may involve significant medical risk. More extreme options involve surgery. Surgical enlargement procedures attempt to alter ligaments or add tissue, but the outcomes are often unpredictable and may involve significant medical risk. The deeper issue often lies in psychology rather than anatomy. Insecurity about size can shape self-confidence, relationships, and body image, even when physical measurements are normal. The investigation now returns to a basic biological fact. Human bodies vary naturally, yet society often treats variation as a problem that must be corrected. Understanding this variation changes the conversation. When averages are properly understood, most men discover they are already within the expected biological range. At this stage, the focus shifts away from measurement. The narrator explains that long-term relationship satisfaction consistently depends on communication, comfort, and emotional connection. When knowledge replaces assumption, anxiety often begins to fade. Understanding anatomy allows individuals to evaluate their bodies with realistic expectations rather than exaggerated standards. Investigation ends where it began, with perception. The most powerful influence on body image may not be biology at all, but the stories people repeat about what masculinity is supposed to look like. Conversations like this continue only when curiosity continues. Share your thoughts and suggestions to explore. If you found this useful, support the work by sharing it with others. Also comment next time below.